What's up, everyone? This is Jason Tucker. This is WP Blab. It is Thursday. It is 7:35. And today I'm here, as always, with Bridget. Bridget, how's it going?
It's going great.
Woohoo!
I see you got the hoodie memo.
Yep, got the hoodie. I have a red one. I should put the red one on.
Oh, that's okay. We coordinate. We don't need to match.
Probably midway through the show, I'm going to start getting pretty hot in here because windows are closed and stuff like that, and it just starts getting warm. So, whew, all right. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about some WordPress stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about probably some social media stuff. We'll probably end up talking about Blab because when you're on Blab, you talk about Blab. And all those sorts of things. So, I asked this question, or rather made this statement last time, that if you had some questions to ask them using our hashtag. We didn't get a whole lot of them.
No, we answered too many questions last week. That was our grave error.
So maybe we'll just answer them again, and I'll just give them a different answer this time.
No, we'll give them the alternate ending, like choose your own adventure.
Don't use that e-commerce solution. Don't use that one. And then look, Jonathan asks, "What's the meaning of life?"
That
right, you know what?
It takes too long to answer.
We can spend 15 minutes, and I could just tell you straight up, it's just 42. That's it, right? 42.
42 what? Being 42?
No, 42 is the meaning of life.
The number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, Bridget.
Next
you
question.
Haven't seen the movie?
I've seen movies, but I don't know stuff. Like I'm not the person that remembers a ton of lines, unless it's like something that really like stuck me.
Jonathan, you hop in and tell us real quick. Come on.
What the meaning of life is?
Share a little bit.
Hi, Greg Franklin.
All right, Jonathan.
Yes.
Tell her a little bit about Hitchhiker's Guide. Come on.
Yeah. Not that much of a nerd.
The answer is 42, isn't it?
The life, the universe, and everything.
Did you know, Bridget?
Look, this is the science fiction I like. Star Wars.
She's a Trekkie.
But come on,
that's where it ends, my friend. That's where it ends.
All right. So I'm accepting new applications for a co-host. So.
I'm still looking for the interpretation on 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh boy!
If somebody could explain that movie to me.
The thing is,
actually, there's been actual total thesis right about that, isn't it?
I feel
that
bad,
movie was such a waste of time. Not as bad as The Castaway, but still,
Well, are you over your cold?
A little bit, yeah. I feel like more myself.
Are you still taking the drug medicine?
Just coffee.
You want tea?
Well, tea's okay, but you know what? It doesn't have enough jolt for me.
It's a nice mug.
Yeah, it's got my aunt's dog on it.
Hi, Small. It's so fun having all these extra people saying hi. It feels a little bit like I get to be romper room.
I just finished my podcast and we got nobody saying hello. But no, it wasn't true. We had a few people.
So that was a joke from some science fiction movies. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, it is the meaning of life, 42. It was a quite a detailed study of a trip through the universe.
Oh.
And when he's searching for the answer and he gets to the top species that can answer it, and they tell him.
Oh, well, I'm 42, so there you go.
So it's 42.
I like the answer.
Yep.
Wish I was 42.
Sorry. Only happens once. Once you passed it, you have no more meaning of life.
Exactly. It's all been down here. Ever since I moved to America, it's all
that
been
means
down.
I'm literally middle-aged. And next on WordPress Blab.
So got any WordPress things you want to be answered apart from 42?
There is a question. Legit question from Too Legit to Quit.
We had a question.
Yeah, from Iris Messina, listing videos LA.
Ooh, well, let's find out what she has to say here. Let's see.
Your property is waiting as Cameo. Something like that. I should have.
I increased the size of my WP library to 100 megabytes. I uploaded a video to have a header but it doesn't run smoothly. Is it my server? It's shared. Wow, all sorts of things.
Cheap hosting strikes again.
It could be like a cache plugin, right?
Where do I begin? So, for one, it's really difficult to host your own video. Like that right there. If you're on a shared host and your video file is less than 100 megs, I get it. Don't do that. There's plenty of plugins out there that you could use for that header video, which I'm not a big fan of. But if you need a header video, that's cool.
He knows best.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't do that.
Couldn't you make it a GIF?
GIF.
GIF.
Could you GIF it up?
I guess you could, but the thing would be like, let's say your website's like 1,000 pixels wide or something. That thing would be huge.
What about like a cinemagraph? Is that just a glorified way of saying GIF that we know how to pronounce?
I would say
Jeff, that's so 1990. We call them cinemagraphs now. Come on.
If it's that important to you, host it on something like Vimeo or YouTube. Vimeo would probably be the easiest way. But yeah.
You mean, and then embed it? Can you embed it in the header?
If the theme's
my competition have video headers, I need this too.
Does it have to be like, does it absolutely?
I need this too. My competition have got it.
You know, like the headers at the very top, obviously, that's the name.
Right.
But could you put it next to that, like a Foo video lightbox thing, and host your video?
But I wouldn't.
Otherwise, how could you put a video that's hosted elsewhere on your?
Well, I wouldn't host it on my own. I'd host it someplace else. So if you need to host it, I guess, put it on like S3 or put it on like someplace where you can just have way faster stuff going on. But really, you should probably be doing something like Vimeo and find a header plugin that will do Vimeo and then just use that. Vimeo costs, but you're probably doing other cool stuff that needs video. So, there you go. If you have a Vimeo account, that's perfect.
I have a Vimeo account. That's top notch.
She does video for a living.
Oh, well then you do need video on there.
Your property waiting its close up or something is their tagline. I can't remember. I should know it by now. But if we don't have our meetups that regularly, so.
Another 5 megabyte page site. Never mind. It all works.
Yeah, look around, see if you can find a video. If you can find a way to host the video on Vimeo, link to that, and then you're good to go.
16 seconds later, you're still waiting for it to load up.
So remember you were talking about the Fiesta and the content delivery network? Like only 5 people can be in my car, so I have to make trips?
Yeah.
Would something like that help?
Well, yeah, because it's hosted elsewhere. So
it's already going to do that if you host it elsewhere.
Yeah. Especially if you're hosted to Vimeo.
Today, but I need better explanation how to set up a better what's this? Better WordPress.
So I guess we're moving on to the next question. The next question comes from Priscilla Christian, a fellow Dana Pointer. Woo!
Apparently, you guys need to go have lunch or something.
To come on here, my ignorance is going to show up, but never know. We keep on trying.
So I've been optimizing a site today, but I need a better explanation of how to set up better WordPress minify. WP Engine recommended it. Then what the dev offers, it makes no sense. Well, WP minify is, if you're not familiar with the term minification or minify, it's when it takes all the stuff that's like extra in your CSS files, your JavaScript files, even your HTML, like the output of the HTML, and it squishes it all down to like the bare minimum. So it takes out all the tabs at the beginning, it takes out all the spaces at the end, it takes out spaces themselves that's around the code, and it just tries to minify it, makes it as small as possible. And the reason why you do that is each one of those characters takes up space. And that space is also kind of, ends up being time it takes for it to be downloaded. So you want to have things as small as possible, just like having like that video playing in the header or something like that. You want to make sure those are all nicely compressed and stuff. But the thing is that she's asking about is, how do I do this so that I can kind of get this all squished up? Yeah. I've never used better WordPress minify myself.
Well, it's a bit hit and miss, isn't it, Jason? Yeah. Sometimes you do it and I wouldn't do it on a live site, folks. That number one, do not attempt this on a live site.
Yeah.
Secondly, have a good backup and try it on a secondary platform, either in a subfolder on WP Engine or some subfolder, and have a go and realise that you're going to have to play around, because normally when you attempt this, something breaks if you're doing it as a browser, as a plug-in solution. I don't know, what do you reckon, Jason? There is no such thing as an average website, but on average, is it really worth bothering with?
Well, it is if it's a site that you're trying to make sure that your page, like she's saying, her page speed scores are going to be better. Yeah, I guess so. If you're using a ton of JavaScript and you're using a lot of CSS and you're really wanting to squish those down, sure. She says she doesn't want to run it on the live site. Yes, that's good. You don't want to do that.
No, that. Well, if you want to kill yourself, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially a live client's website, just go ahead and do it.
Right.
See what happens. Even the better. But,
so there's a couple ways to do this, but not doing it on the server itself. But minifying these things before you upload them. So if you wanted to go about that way, so you have your production code, and then you end up converting it into or your development code, and you convert it into your production code and upload it. That's one way of doing it. It's probably like the easiest way of doing it. Also, make sure that you can control kind of how it's being minified and stuff. There's a whole bunch of ways, like Jacob was talking back in it was like this last meetup that we did. He was talking about using some different tools of doing that, where you're using like Grunt or one of those things where it's like more of like hardcore programming type stuff. Yeah, Gulp. That's it. Using Gulp. I haven't gotten into that.
You love these terms, Grunt, Gulp.
Grunt, Gulp.
So they're so mature,
yeah,
aren't they?
Exactly. So yeah, there's those types of things.
Can't you see yourself discussing that on board level? We really need to use Grunt now, Gulp, on the site. You can really see that going down well.
Then it gets even more interesting, because you can start talking about handlebars and mustache and all sorts of other tools and techniques and stuff that you could use. So you want to start getting crazy. There's definitely some crazier named ones out there.
Yes, you can see that going down really well with the financial chief officer, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, the English sarcasm is starting to come out quite badly, isn't it?
Oh, boy. All right. Let's see here. I've used some other stuff that's more local, me doing my local development stuff too. But
that's what I was thinking. Jacob said images are a big deal. I know that Adam Silver says you should optimize, you should size your images before you upload them to your media library. Like for him, he does a maximum of 800 pixels wide.
Yeah.
He sizes them before he uploads them to his media library.
Well, he was a professional photographer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So,
I know, he's smarty pants, but that's a good idea, because then I guess because of responsive images, WordPress makes like 3 copies or something anyway. So
it makes lots of copies.
Well, now it makes more, right?
Yeah. But
I had one client recently say, my website's slow, my developer, and I looked at it, they had one image that was 5 megabyte.
Oh yeah, that would do it. And they're like, "Why? All my potential customers are getting mad at me because every time they go to my site, it eats up 5 megs, off their phone, off their mobile phone." Right. Yeah, that's not good.
Images are a problem, and we forget how big they are, even from our phones. Even the pictures we take on our phone. I mean,
yes.
When we think about how much better our iPhone cameras are than point and shoots we had in 2007.
Or when your client or business partner or coworker goes and uploads like a raw file, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's just upload a 18 megapixel raw file or 18 megapixel JPEG file or something." You're like, "What are you doing? This is way too big."
I do that every day.
You're like, that's why my website's so slow.
Jonathan and his Tales of Woe. Next episode.
Well, I'm English. That's what we can get. We're not noted for our happiness, are we?
Oh man!
Gloomy English weather. That's what we're. Why do you think I live in America?
You don't have English weather. You live in Reno. Come on.
That's why do you think I live in Reno? I love England. I just couldn't stand the weather anymore.
Yeah, I bet.
I just couldn't stand it anymore.
So you moved to the desert on a horse with no name.
Hey, Bridget, you were to kind of.
Hey, Jason.
We'll just talk a little bit before we get another question. So you tweeted I think it was today, maybe it was Twitter or Facebook, that you kind of revived your mailing list.
Yes, I revived my mailing list. Okay, because last week's blab sort of like bothered my conscience, and then I'm like, you know what? I should just do this. And the truth is, last year was a really hard year for me, and I did a lot of part-time work for the place I'm working for now, which everybody in the mom does, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I was working a full-time job and then working a part-time job after that, and honestly, just to keep it really real here, Jonathan, we're gonna have just a moment. Right. I was super depressed because it was so stressful. My last situation was so emotionally draining. People on Facebook are commenting that I just look happier. I'm exhausted. The work is harder. I'm loving it. I'm exhilarated but exhausted. But people could tell that my face is happier. So I was like, the last thing I wanted to do is send out some email to 34 people who don't give a crap what I've written, right? But then I go, if I'm going to say that this is what I believe in as the marketing manager of WordPress, then I should be doing it for my own self.
Yep.
And all of that conversation we had last week with Russ and you and Adam and John, I was just
Peer
like,
pressure.
You know what? Jonathan, can I call you John? So
I'm used to being called anything, actually.
Keep the 4-letter words out.
So I had a 6-month hiatus, and I just went, you know what? I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do this because it's good practice. It's good practice for myself.
Well, things could be worse, Bridget. You could have a face like mine.
You have a nice face, stop.
But
yeah,
old
it's
and
hard
grey and bitter.
You don't even realize.
The promise of youth has gone away.
Listen, mister, I'm going to put mute on you. We're trying to have a moment here on the Bridget and Jason show. No, but seriously, it's hard to. Sometimes you get depressed. You don't even realize it. I was just like, who cares? And I didn't realize that it wasn't just my normal laziness. It was just that I was depressed. I see that now.
Yeah.
Because I'm so happy. It's crazy. Like, it almost scares me how happy I am.
So the question is, are you going to be doing what we talked about where you're going to custom write custom content for this? Are you going to be like,
I did. I wrote
just RSS feed it and be like, whatever shows up.
Okay, first of all, you have to pay MailChimp to get the automation features.
No, you can do RSS feed through it.
I don't know. I'm not that nerdy. I just have the Jetpack shirt.
You don't need to be nerdy.
I don't know. I don't like it that way. I just have, did you miss in the last 5 blog posts and how many seconds it took me? Like, I redid my whole header and it took me a few seconds to do that.
But it also took you like a couple seconds to log in and a couple seconds to push to select the recipient, and then a couple seconds to preview it, and then a couple seconds to make a text version of it, just in case people are using old school.
I have
a
mobile responsive one. It's not that
fancy.
Yeah,
but you still need to look at it.
I on my list.
Manually, I know.
If they can't be bothered to look at my superb layout newsletter that I've spent at least 2 hours in the way it should be seen, they're not seeing it text-wise.
Okay. I will put a link in the show notes, and I even gave a Bowie reference with the title Changes, and the Guru Grammar's back. It's called Hey, I Could Be a Guru Too, the Guru Gram, and I name each one. And just like you guys do with podcasts, and it's just a little blurb, and it said, hey, I really suck. I dropped the ball. This is what I did. I got a new job. I started co-hosting the show. This is what's going on. These last 5 blog posts you missed. And
I promise I'll start spamming you again. Please, please.
That's it. I mean, it's not like rocket science, but I did feel bad. WP Blog changed my life. I started my mailing list again.
So you're telling
once a week.
There's only 53 people that are subscribed to your mailing list?
I don't know. It's like 29, 34.
We have 11 people on right now. All 11 of you should go over there and just go sign up for it.
Okay, well, I have a 53% open rate. I got a 53% open rate, though.
Nice.
And that doesn't count all the Outlook people that don't have the Pixel. So that's a pretty good open rate, though, right?
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Thank you very much.
Was you using most of your old Jesus articles in it?
No. That's just for myself. This is all my social media advice, my unsolicited social media advice.
Nice.
Like one of my bigger articles is when I talked about.
Go and sign up myself. Actually, I need it. Right.
Yeah, hospitality. I have a whole series called Keys to Being Social, where I talk about different attributes that are important: hospitality, honor, responsibility, authenticity, spontaneity, that kind of stuff, and with real live examples. And of course, all my new WordPress stuff, like my WordPress plugin one that I did, recipe for newbies, and tweeting as WordCamp LAX, my debrief. The debrief that got me this job in the first place, which was writing about how I start. What's the ROI of 3 WordCamps, 2 WordPress websites, whatever, stuff like that. And my light bulb just went out on one of my lights.
Uh-oh.
I might have to get a more professional lighting rig. Oh, it came back on. That's awesome. So hopefully it won't be starting fires here. Just, it's hard because you're like, I get like I binge write. Like I go, oh, nobody cares. All this stuff is obvious. And then some people say, well, Bridget, how do you blah, 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 blah? And I go, oh, well, you just blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I'm like, that should be a blog post. Boom.
Exactly. I tell people that all the time, that when they post stuff on Facebook, they're like, oh, here's this thing I built. And I'm like, that's great. You posted on Facebook, like your mom and your dad and your couple high school friends that don't care about WordPress. None of those care. So just get it onto your website, and then people are like, oh, this guy, he knows everything. This is awesome.
I have this one friend. She's my one friend from church. She's an older lady. She always says, dear Bridget, I have no idea what you're talking about. Love and blessings.
Fun enough, Bridget. A lot of them.
She just wants to support me. My other friend goes, I know that I'm supposed to like it because that's good on Facebook, but I have no idea what you're doing for a living now. Like before, when I was in construction, people at least could relate to it.
You're like, I work on Facebook, okay? I don't work at Facebook. I work on Facebook. I work on Twitter.
I work for a tech company. I work for a tech company in San Diego. End of story. And then they go, okay.
Perfect.
Bridget, this thing about language, I get it all the time. I don't think anybody in America understands anything I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I watch a lot of BBC shows, so I got a couple steps ahead.
The BBC, auntie.
Or Acorn. I like Acorn shows better, actually.
I call Mr. Tucker my Uncle Tucker.
Uncle Tucker, is that Jason?
Yeah, we go way back.
Way back.
Jonathan and I go way back.
I am getting more techie friends. I'll probably pick some up at the WordCamps in SoCal.
Exactly.
I told you I'm going to go to my first WordPress meetup next whatever.
You're going to.
I'm going to try to be more of a geek. I'm even wearing a geek shirt.
Perfect.
Isn't flattering, but
jetpack. It's all right.
I want a better neckline, but I like the logo. This is cool.
Well, you got to cut it and then get them all hemmed up and stuff.
I know. I'm going to take it to a tailor. I don't want to just cut it with scissors.
She's like, you want this hemmed? Okay. It's a guy on a jetpack, but all right. If that's what you want, cool with me.
It'll be $10.
And then we'll put some lace or something on there. There you go.
Hey, that one lady that makes quilts, she should do that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
She's from Canada or something. Andrea, somebody with pink hair.
Yep.
Blue hair, I think that was on the side.
So let's see here. Jacob had a question. He asked us about 20 minutes ago. So
there you go.
We were talking.
Sorry, Jacob.
And Jacob, if you want to hop in and even talk about this a little bit with me, because I'm getting more and more familiar with responsive images. So,
yeah.
The question is, since we're talking about images, what do site owners need to know about the new responsive images in 4.0?
That's a good question.
Jacob, what
My
do
developer was seek.
The man with the chair.
We got the chair. There you go.
Hey, what's up?
Wow, you got a professional setup with the green screen and everything?
No, I just don't have any
Oh my
artwork.
gosh. That's awesome. But that's perfect. I mean, I need to take all my artwork down now.
No, you got the background. You got like the what is it? The conference little attendee thingies.
Yeah. These are my WordCamp badges.
Jacob hails from the other side of the city that we live in, so there you go.
Yes. I mean,
how's it going, Jacob?
It's cool. What's up, you guys?
And welcome to WP Blab.
Yeah,
Da-da-da!
glad to be on.
The show where we ask people to ask the questions to answer them for themselves.
The show where we beg people, please come on. Please come on. We're having a lag. I'm talking about
Jacob,
my depression.
I haven't fully dove into this.
Save us.
Bridget's having a Dr. Oz moment. Please, somebody jump on. She's going to have a breakdown here.
So I haven't really dove much into this topic yet myself, and I don't do a whole lot of client work anymore, so I haven't had the opportunity to test this on someone else's site while I'm building it. So, there was definitely an update happened in 4.4 that has was 4.4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put 4.0 on the question, but yeah. 4.
So it's 4.4. They made it so that images are now responsive. And, Bridget was talking about earlier about how the number of sizes of images, especially the ones that are like hard cropped and stuff, WordPress does. They're still doing that. It's just now the idea is that you're able to have these things size in accordance to like whatever the display is, the viewport is, or what have you. And also make it so that if it's mobile friendly or what have you, that they'll load up correctly, right?
Yeah, I think site owners don't actually really have to worry about anything. WordPress takes care of it for you. So the short answer is if you own a WordPress site and you're on 4.4, there are responsive images now in there. And you don't have to do anything different, special, turn anything on. It's already working for you. So that's the short answer, right? The long answer, the more technical answer, is that WordPress is now using the new source set attribute within the image tag, and it's kind of complicated. It's not. You would think an image is just basic. You just put in the path to the image in your set, but it's kind of you've got to take some time to understand how it works and what it does. But basically, from what I gather, and feel free to chime in and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand, you're pretty much telling the browser, hey, browser, here are like 3 different images I have. There's a small version, a medium one, and a large one, right? For example. And you're actually providing the browser with certain information about each image. Mm-hmm. I think WordPress is using width. So let's just say you have a 100 by 100, 300 by 300, and a 600 by 600, right? So you say, here's a 100 by 100, and it's actually, you provided the dimensions. And then the browser pretty much takes over after that, right? It pretty much makes the decision on its own. And it decides, based on a lot of different factors, what image it should pull and render to that particular user. So if you're on and I believe it's using things like what kind of network you're on. So if you're on a really bad 3G network, so it's not necessarily the screen size or the viewport size. There's all kinds of other factors. And everything that I've read is, we really don't know what how the browser decides, but the browser, it just knows kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I remember there used to be a thing pretty far back. I'm trying to remember what version of HTML it was, where they had a low SRC property that you could do, where you could load like a crappier version of the image, and you this is back in like the Dreamweaver days or earlier, where you're sitting there you put in the image and it would load that first, and then once the whole page is loaded or what have you, that image is loaded, it'll then load up a higher res version of it.
Yeah, I think the other factor is I think the update is considerably, when it comes to actually a small screen device, is beneficial. But I think there was this file format. Is it on Uncle Tucker? Is it SGV or something? Or V?
Yeah, SVG.
That was supposed to be, because it's a pixel, but also has the qualities of a vector, isn't it? And it was supposed to be able to deal with, but that I don't think that format has been widely adapted even amongst only by a couple of the browsers.
What, SVGs?
Oh no, it's all over the place.
Yeah, but wasn't there something that's limited or something? Why it hasn't been adopted as widely as they thought it was going to?
It uses the maths as the British say.
Yeah, SVGs are a really big thing right now, especially. I mean, you can use a file type as like image.svg, but even more popular right now is using the actual SVG markup, which I think is XML. And it's pretty much, as Roy is talking about,
it's coordinates.
Instead of using stuff like font icons, the trend now is using SVGs.
That's what Roy Boy was saying in the chat.
Yep. Yeah. So on the latest site we're working on at Zeek, I'm not using any font icons at all, like Font Awesome. I'm just using SVGs and using an SVG sprite, and just using an SVG tag with the use, and then it just brings it up. And then you can apply all kinds of CSS to it.
Bridget, let me.
So what's an SVG for those of us in the audience?
So
we're wondering.
Yeah, so SVG is math. It's telling it like here's the different coordinates for this particular shape. So is it a square? Is it a circle? Is it some crazy polygon or whatever? And it uses that to determine what's going to be displayed.
What is
the same type of stuff
stand for?
Scalable vector graphic.
Yeah.
Scalable?
Scalable or scale vectors? I think it's scalable. Scalable vector.
Yeah. But the idea is that this thing can grow and shrink however you need it to, and it doesn't. You just have to.
So it's a vector image as opposed to a pixelated image, right?
Oh.
So
raster versus vector.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought maybe we were going to talk about whether light is a beam of energy or a wave. Waiting for the experiment to follow.
Folks,
you make SVGs. You make SVGs in Adobe Illustrator, right? And then when you spit out the code, it's pretty much has all the different shape attributes. You can have a line attribute, a path, a circle, ellipse, or you can join all those into a path, and it's got like Justin was saying, all the different coordinates.
I don't really get this, Jacob. I hand draw my images.
So if fonts are being used, then there's a lot of math being processed just to display a font.
Well, the font is loading all of the characters within the font. So that's why you load up one of these like Typekit or a Font Squirrel or one of these different things that are being loaded. What ends up happening is it's loading ABCD all the way through the alphabet, all the numbers,
26 letters.
And then all of the other ones
caps
as well. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, not only that, too, Justin,
it's not doing quadratic
server, right? So
it's not doing quadratic equations, though.
Well, but the SVG is not like, it doesn't have like a bunch of.
SVG is just markup.
Okay.
So it looks just like HTML.
Yeah.
So does it change your processing time and your speed on your site?
That's one of the benefits of it, because if you're going to use like a web font like Google Fonts, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to send out a request to Google servers to bring that font in, an HTTP request. So that's resources that the client has to use to reach out to a server to bring that in.
Oh. Google did a really cool post about how their logo was converted into SVG and why they converted it and stuff. I'll post a thing. This is on Gizmodo, but if you click on there and click on some links in there, it kind of gives you an idea of what an SVG is and why you would use it and why Google used it and why Google probably saved like cities upon cities worth of energy just having their logo changed because just how many times this thing gets loaded up.
Okay, so it's like having an LED versus the Edison bulb.
Yeah, let's go with that.
It's good bedside reading.
Kind of like the light.
I like analogies.
Kind of like the wall.
Break it down, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, not even that. It's like those are still lights, right? It's like having the wall be the light. You don't have to request the energy.
Okay, so there's your meaning of life question and answer from earlier in the show. We are the font.
There you go.
Oh, here's a good question. I don't even know that one. Does the WordPress media uploader handle SVGs?
I haven't tried to upload an SVG yet into the library.
What are you talking about?
Oh, no, it has for a while. I remember using ACF, an ACF image, Advanced Custom Field image that we created, and we're just uploading SVGs on there. So a while ago, yeah, it seemed to work fine. I haven't done it recently, but.
Yeah.
Well, that's a blog post that's waiting to happen.
Yes.
They are, Bridget. It's waiting for you.
Not for me.
There's a book going back to the.
I'm sure Jacob would write it.
Going back to the responsive images. There's a book by Ethan Marcotte via the Book Apart series called Responsive Design Patterns and Principles. I put the link there. He dedicates a whole chapter, and I think there's only 4 chapters in the book. It's really a short book. But there's a whole chapter on responsive images and using the source set attributes, or the source set attribute rather. So
it's no audiobook version of it, unfortunately.
Could you even understand?
I don't think you can get much out of the code samples from an audiobook.
Could you imagine?
Just get a class
PHP, blah 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 blah. Close PHP. Yeah, that would be awful. But yeah, there's an ebook and a paperback version. So if you want to check those out, it's a pretty good buy for $9. That's not bad at all to go down.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, Ethan Marcotte is the guy who coined the phrase responsive design.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like a celebrity.
So
see, we had him actually pronounce responsive design, so we're all saying it the correct way.
Yeah. So we don't have the GIF, Team GIF.
So just like my boss Steve Zenga says, he's kind of a big deal.
Oh, okay. Did you look it up on Wikipedia?
Exactly. So let's see here. So we have responsive images and being able to work with them. Uploading them. If you're somebody who just runs your cat blog, you'll make sure that all of your cat's images will start loading up the way they need to. And there's some stuff with there's a few things that you can do to kind of customize the way that they're going to be displayed and stuff. If I remember correctly, isn't it using something like picture fill or something like that to make some of the images, make those images load up where it's like inside of a container and it kind of crops out the pieces that it needs and then displays it?
I don't know about that.
I remember messing around with them when they first mentioned how it works, and I'll have to dig around a little bit more.
I think the plugin that the RICG plugin, which is where the responsive images came from into Core, used a polyfill when source set was not supported by a browser. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. Where it like degraded or something if it needed to.
And WordPress still throws in a value in the normal source attribute, which we use now in the event that the browser that the user is using doesn't support source set. But from what I understand, source set's pretty widely supported.
IE6. Oh, sorry.
But basically, for WordPress site owners, what they need to understand with responsive images is that they'll be providing their visitors with the best kind of image based on whatever situation they're currently viewing their site, whether they're on a mobile device, a desktop on low bandwidth, mobile on high bandwidth, stuff like that. So it's just not, are you on a laptop or desktop or mobile device? It's all kinds of other considerations. So
super custom then.
Yeah, it's making sure that if you don't have the bandwidth to download a 1500 by 1000 pixel image, maybe let's download the 150 by 150 thumbnail instead, kind of thing.
So the person with 2G in Haiti.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's ease up on the big hero images.
Or the big hero video images, videos.
So Roy said, so what you're saying is WP new built-in plus SVG equals amazing awesomeness?
Yeah.
And then cat vectors for the win.
Okay.
And SVGs are really cool when you want to start doing a lot of animation on your sites too. So let's just say you have a flower, right? Each petal of that flower can be a particular SVG element, and then you can apply CSS to animate that thing. All kinds of cool things you can start doing with SVGs.
Yeah, we built a map system for my work where it displays the map of the buildings, and then when you mouse over them, each of the buildings lights up like a mouse over, but there's no extra images or nothing. It's just the one SVG file, and then each one of those buildings you just mouse over it and you can light them up. So it's pretty neat to be able to kind of see what's happening where, and yeah, you could use that for animations and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, but Uncle Tucker, are they Trump buildings?
No, they are not.
All right, there you go.
No. They are not.
There we go. Sorry, I just couldn't resist.
You're gonna break Bridget any minute now.
Pardon, what's that?
You're gonna break Bridget any minute.
My
now.
husband's a total political nut, and he was saying about how many people were watching the kiddie table debate or whatever. It was more than the Democrat debate. And I said, that's because the Democrats are like Apple and the Republicans are like open source.
Oh boy, here we go.
Right?
Watch out
Well,
now.
because the Democrats never do this to themselves. They just give you 3 different phones, and that's what you
Folks,
choose.
she's talking politics.
And the Republicans are more like, anybody could build on this, so it doesn't matter. It's true, though. I'm getting this stuff.
You're trying to be super relevant to the day.
I was really proud of that analogy, by the way. Doesn't matter what you agree with, it's still true.
This is true.
The Democrats never, ever have 14 people running for anything. Whether we agree with that or not is the truth.
Oh, boy. That's awesome.
I'm not replying to any of that.
I was just proud of myself for being able to relate.
Oh, see. Yeah, well, that's true. Roy says that the Republicans are like the Edison bulb and the Democrats are the LEDs.
No, the updated version is SVG versus
raster graphics.
Fonts.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
So if you have any questions and you're in our chat room right now, you can type in /Q and then space and then your question. If you're watching us on YouTube later on and you want to ask a question, feel free to ask them in the comment below, and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Hashtag Ask WP Blab.
We have the Twitters, so feel free to use the Twitters too. We watch all this stuff. Bridget, being the Twitter nerd that she is, she watches all the things.
That's my number one nerdiness. Twitter. It might be the end and the beginning of my nerdiness.
Yeah, Twitter's awesome. Last night I got on Twitter and realized that Chino Hills was trending. I got scared for a second. I'm like, what's going on in Chino Hills?
Yeah, because Chino Hills doesn't trend on its own.
It's so random that Chino Hills was trending.
Hey, you guys, did I talk about this before? That reminded me, Jacob. Did you know that WordCamp, hashtag for WordCamp US, trended nationally the first day of WordCamp? And that there are like 9 million reach. That's more than most countries.
So they got Justin Bieber and
I still can't believe that I didn't see anything in like.
I'm gonna go for it. They all came from the same Twitter farm in China.
Nobody from like Gizmodo or Mashable or anybody even covered that, or the fact that Philadelphia made a WordPress day. How is that not in tech news when 25% of the internet is powered by WordPress? Am I the only one that's not just outraged by this?
It's all the Drupal Joomla people.
It's so weird.
Hey,
you should be at the kiddie table.
I was going to ask you a question about, you guys were talking about images before and like performance. I think there was a question on performance. What are you guys using for, optimizing your images?
Ooh.
You mean after you've already pre-sized them before you added them to the media library?
Yes, before you add them to the media library. So two things. Like if you're a publisher and you're writing an article and you're uploading images to your post into the media library, how are you optimizing them to make sure that they're as small as it can be, yet still maintaining that quality that you desire, right?
It's so I like pandas. And so there's this website called Tiny PNG or Tiny Ping if you pronounce the word. And there's a panda, and you just drag your image onto there. You hit the save button, and you're done. Now, I personally don't use this, but the folks that are at my work who send me these ridiculously huge PNG files for whatever reason, I say, look, drop it in there first. It'll save the file for you, and then send it to me. Because if you don't do it, I'm going to have to do it. And now they send me messages that say like optimized, and then they send me the image. So I'm like, okay, good. I got these guys trained now.
Good job. I use Canva, Canva.com, and I make my image exactly how it's the size it's supposed to be.
Folks, I'm gonna be back in just a moment. I'll be right back.
Because every WordPress theme has a totally different featured image size. Not that that's not awesome.
Canva.
Yeah, Canva.com. And so once I make my featured image size, then I just keep copying it. So, because the dimensions is that's what I learned, is to just, set it up for the right dimensions the first time.
So how does Canva work?
You can down Canva.com. It just has, mostly people like it because it has these pre-made, styles or whatever. But I'm finding more and more that I'm doing my own style, and I start it with whatever dimensions I want. But they do have custom dimensions already preset for, preset dimensions already set for a Facebook post, a Facebook ad, an Instagram post, a blog header, Pinterest graphic, an infographic, blah, 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 blah. They're already pre-done. Like a Twitter header is already pre-done. It's already going to be the right size. The Facebook cover is already going to be the right size. But for me, not being a Photoshop person at all on any.
Oh, his head appeared.
It's free. Does it
optimize the image?
Well,
or
that's the first step is having it the right size. But when you export it, you can export it as a JPEG or a PNG. So it depends on what you want to use.
That's a pretty good job, Bridget. I'm old-fashioned. I use fireworks.
I don't know how to.
Oh my gosh, fireworks!
I don't know how to do that.
I thought fireworks was end of life.
Sorry?
I thought fireworks was end of life like a couple years ago, wasn't it?
Well, I'm old.
So do you do your web development in all this PageMaker?
Sorry?
Do you do your web development in all this PageMaker?
Of course.
Yeah.
Freehand.
So as far as BridgetWillard.com, optimizing anything that she does for that or WordPress, I just use Canva, and I just make it the right size the first time. That's what I do.
We use Canva for all of the promotional stuff now for WP Lab and WPwatercooler. I love it. It's all Bridget's fault.
Sorry.
Nice.
I love it. Just made it easy. The best thing that ever happened to social media managers was Canva.
Yeah, because they're like, here's the dimensions, click the dimension, hit the go button, and boom, you're done.
Plus, people that write, we're not graphic artists. We write.
Yeah.
That's why we write.
I use a Mac app called Image Optim. This guy.
Yeah, drop it in. Thank you.
Oh, right.
It just optimizes it. It's really cool because it tells you like what it took out, and it gives you like a savings percentage. Like, oh man, I saved 12% just by dropping it in here.
Cool.
So Roy's asking in the chat if if the thing I was using, which is the shrink PNG or tiny PNG, what does it do? It actually removes some of the colors that aren't being used, and it kind of just it optimizes it and cleans it up a little bit. Definitely there's going to be a change in the image, but there's not going to be like a huge change in the image.
Canva doesn't do any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, for me, it's just I'm getting the size right originally.
But the stuff that it spits out isn't bad. I mean, it's not like it's a huge file that's like some ridiculously huge file. I think they've taken they know that the people that are using it aren't going to go through 3 extra steps to be able to make it, optimized. We don't even throw it on Twitter anyhow, so who cares?
And we don't know. We don't even know those steps exist. That's why we're using Canva. If we knew they existed, we'd be using Photoshop. Make it big, giant.
So if you want to try it, Bridget, you could take that file, then throw it into the Cute Panda app and then or website, and then see what it does.
Yeah, I'm going to try that to see.
I just love the panda.
It is. It's cute, right? He has like a little heart nose and everything.
Roy asked me if I ever compared PSC for web. I haven't used the PSC for web in a while. I know you can like there's a little bar that you can change the quality. There's a number quality like 0 to 100, I think, when you do save for web on Photoshop. And I think I haven't done it in a while, but nowadays I'm doing a quick export to PNG with the latest Photoshop, and I'm just,
the quick save PNG,
and then I just dump it into like Image Optim, and it takes out all the junk meta stuff that's unnecessary.
You got it all wrong. You can't beat the panda. I'm sorry. It looks pretty. That's all that matters.
But it's pretty crazy. Like with Image Optim, it'll show you the savings percentage. I mean, I've seen some like 30-40% savings, and the image looks exactly the same. It's crazy.
Well, I tend to use these when I'm dealing with client that done it themselves, because if it's really important, I try and optimize it by hand as much as possible with my old tools. You
load up Photoshop version 3.0 and have at it.
I don't know about you.
He has to pull the computer on like a lawnmower. But when I'm developing, so when we're building themes, I have a Gulp task that has a built-in image optimizer. So every time I add a new image into an image directory, Gulp runs, optimizes it, and spits it out into a kind of destination directory. That's the clean image. So that's when I'm developing. So that's automated. But when I'm actually using the WordPress content or using the WordPress media library, I'll have to do something manual like this, which is like Image Optim or something like that, or Panda, or maybe Canva.
Yeah, there used to be, or maybe there still is. I'm not a big fan of it, but WP Smush used to be is a plugin made by WPMU Dev that you can install this thing on your website when you upload an image. It runs it through their system and then optimizes it, and then spits out an image and replaces the image in place on your site. So something like that might be an interesting way to go about it, but it's totally free and it just works, and you want to give that a shot.
So if your luggage is too heavy, you don't need 10 pairs of shoes. Take out 4. You're still good to go.
Yes, pack light.
Is this what we're talking about here?
Yeah, exactly.
Take out the bulk, but it's still functional.
Mm-hmm. It just depends on when you want to do it. If you want to do it before you upload it, then that's when you use the Panda website, or you use Photoshop and do it, or you use
the version of Fireworks.
You make your BMP files of Fireworks and then go and import those.
The problem with the web community, if anything's more than 6 months old, you're out of date.
Yep.
Even though it perfectly works on the job. But,
one thing we haven't talked about was CodeKit and how you could do this stuff with CodeKit. So if you want this like one-stop shop type of solution, you can use CodeKit and do this, where you take your SVG file and shove it in there and you can do something with it, or your PNG file and shove it in there and do something with it. Or you could take your CSS file and have it, compress it or do whatever you need to. So that thing's kind of like the jack of all trades type of, tool, but you may want to check that out if you've never used it before. It's kind of this like one-stop shop setup.
Yeah, I've heard CodeKit does a lot of what like Grunt and Gulp does, but it's just got a nicer UI rather than using
Grunt and Gulp,
JavaScript or command line. So, to each his own or her own.
Yep.
But I'm on the Gulp train.
Choo-choo.
I'm on the Gulp train. Jacob's new nickname.
Here you go, John. You can check this out. This is the Gulp, or the Grunt logo. So you can see what the Grunt logo looks like.
I can't wait to see what you title this video now.
Oh yeah, and then here's
gonna be so funny.
Here's the Gulp logo. So at least you have a good idea of what things are doing. Didn't Gulp used to have like a coffee, or not coffee?
That is
a soda?
not a very nice looking.
It looked like a 7-Eleven, like 32 ounce or so. Did they get rid of it?
Yeah, now it's just like some like font.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was a very specific reason for that.
Probably. They're like, oh, people don't like soda. We gotta stop doing this. The open source marketing department said, no, don't do this.
Maybe they're using an SVG font.
Exactly.
I just threw up
one thing looks mean and aggressive. Like, I'm gonna make your images way smaller. Like, that's almost scary.
Yeah, I mean, as developers, anytime you can get the computer to do
your work,
repetitive tasks, which is what it's really good at doing, you should.
Cool. Roy's in here, like, plugging his show 3 times.
He's like, I know these show up as comments on the website.
We love you, Roy.
Is this a podcast? Oh, cool.
Yeah, the WP crowd. It's on Wednesdays at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Wednesdays
I'm
at 8
a little behind.
Cool. I'm going to have to check it out, Roy.
It's a good one. They get, like, really developer-y.
Oh, cool.
Like, most of the time I don't know what they're saying, but I just feel like they're my friends.
Steve doesn't let us get all developer-y on Watercooler.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's no developer-y-ness.
No. So, what else?
I shouldn't say that. That was mean.
That's all right. I don't know what you're saying. That's awesome.
That's pretty much what everybody says to me.
Exactly.
No matter what I'm saying. What exactly are you talking about, Lee?
Let's see here. So what other things have you guys been working on lately that is WordPress related? Anything in particular? Even just the technologies you're using with it, or the things that you're wanting to do with it, or anything like that.
I just updated my starter theme to Foundation 6.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I have a starter theme called Heisenberg, and it's based off of Foundation and Automatics _, starter theme.
So have you guys ever looked at or know anything about underscores? So they made this They made this theme that's like super duper basic. Like it's just ridiculously basic. And it's a starter theme. It's where you're able to kind of work off of that and build something interesting with it if you're so inclined. And so, taking that and something like Foundation, which is a CSS framework, and smushing those two together to come up with something which Jacob came up with, Heisenberg.
Oh, okay. I've heard that. That was you?
Yeah, it was me and Steve.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, me and Steve at work at Zeek. We, because we kind of had it internally for all our new projects, we would just spin off of that. So Steve thought it'd be a good idea for us to just open source it. And we've been getting some pull requests and stuff, so that's cool.
Do you like have it on GitHub and stuff?
Yeah, I'll put in the link right here.
Yeah, put the GitHub link, because I know there's a bunch of nerds that like that GitHub.
There it is. Yeah. It's already out there. Somebody, PCGS, beat me to it.
Yeah, Priscilla's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Priscilla. Thank you, Priscilla. Anyway, but Foundation updated, I think, about a month ago from Foundation 5 to Foundation 6, so we caught up with them. So we're on Foundation 6 now.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So Jonathan uses Node, Bower, and Gulp. These are all your friends, right?
Actually, I'm not using Bower in the starter theme anymore because Foundation's now supported on NPM, and we were already using NPM for Gulp, so I didn't want to have too many dependencies in case somebody wants to use it, and now they need to get Bower and NPM. So if I could reduce the amount of dependencies, I did. So I just using NPM for Foundation. Same thing, just pointing to something different. NPM is is where all the cool kids are.
Ah.
A lot of blank stares.
Like, it's just over my head. Like, I know Twitter. I did 2 plugin reviews this week that will be appearing soon on WordPress. One for Image Inject, which is super awesome for people who don't want to waste their life looking for a featured image. It will search Flickr Creative Commons for you right in your dashboard.
Ooh. What's this thing called? Share us the link.
It's called Image Inject. And my review is not published yet.
So, explain again what it does. What it does, Bridget?
What it does is, like, while you're composing, you can click on the little button in the, kitchen sink or whatever you guys call it. The icons that let you do stuff.
We're talking about the WordPress.
When you're in the dashboard composing.
The little tiny MCE, right?
Those tiny little icons. I think you guys call them the kitchen sink.
I thought it was called tiny MCE. No?
I don't know. They're icons that let you do stuff.
WYSIWYG? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, in the editor, once you install it, there'll be a button. And then you can insert an image. And you could say, like, plugin or Wharf or whatever keyword you would search if you were going to Flickr anyway. There's another service too. And then it will automatically search Creative Commons for you. You can choose whatever you want it to be. Or if you want it to be the featured image, it will make it the featured image and put the attribution at the end of the post automatically. You could, because I don't want to spend more time on the graphic than I do on the actual content, right? Mm-hmm. So Matt Cromwell suggested it. So, I thought that was pretty good. So that's one that I reviewed recently. And I just reviewed Instagram feed for displaying. It makes short codes so you can display your Instagram.
Ooh.
Yes, it is now on BridgetWillard.com as a widget in the side. And I survived making a short code. So there you go. Which, kill me now, because the plugin doesn't make the short code for you. It just has a really lovely table of options that you just have to spend 30 minutes configuring to see which one works. But other than that, it's super great plugin. Love short codes.
Bridget on IG, there it is.
Yep, Bridget on IG.
What?
That was with Instagram feed plugin, and that review will be on wordimpress.com probably the month after.
So Bridget, I have one for you to review.
Oh yeah, I'm jonesing.
So this one is called Short Coder, and what it does
there
is
you go. I needed that before.
Well, you got to learn how to do the math before you can use the calculator.
I'm going to add it to my favorites.
So Short Coder, what it does is it gives you a post type interface, and you type in the name of it, so it's something for you to remember. Okay. And then down below, it gives you a text editor, so you could have like Bridget is awesome. That's all it's going to say. And it's the font and whatever else. Go. Then down below, you go and type in what you want the short code to be called, and then you type in the editor. You do like a bracket and then SC space, I think it's like ID or name or something equals Bridget. And then every time you use that, it'll put Bridget is awesome in there.
Okay, that's like when you first had a computer and you made your name go like this diagonally on a Commodore 64.
No, because what this does is it replaces that little short code with whatever you want it to display.
Could it be an SVG version of Bridget is awesome?
But what else you can do?
Listen, I don't know what you're talking about.
So here's what I use it for, and this is why I use this was because one of my clients wants to take a chat, like a JavaScript style chat window, and have it show up on his site. But if you paste JavaScript into your post, it eats it up. It just totally just mangles JavaScript. Like just post it right in the middle of your, here's a paragraph, JavaScript, more paragraph. It just totally screws it up. So if you use Short Coder, he can go in there and just type in, SC space name equals chat box. And then the chat box shows up.
Oh,
it's pretty sweet. So
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So does he do that in like a custom post type? Or is it in a widget?
Well, you could do widgets or something like that, but this is just for short codes. Just like the thing he's trying to do doesn't have a short code, and he wants one. So
so this will let you make something that isn't a short code a short code.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty spiffy.
Very useful.
Probably next week or the week after that, I will come back and watch this and go, I needed to know that. Because that's what's been happening.
You rewatch the show?
For this show, Jacob, is so that I learn WordPress quickly.
Yes.
Nice.
This is like learning Spanish by being in Mexico. Not in the tourist town in the middle of nowhere. Me hablo, Bridget.
So Roy wants to know if you get a short codeception going on here by putting a short code within a short code.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
Bridget, what was the name of the Instagram plugin that you?
It's called Instagram Feed.
Instagram Feed. Okay.
Oh, I have an example. I'll put it in the show notes of what it looks like. I made short codes for a bunch of people I liked, and then put it on a page. Like you could do this for like about us, and then put everybody that works at your company's Instagram or just a bunch of people that you like. I think you could like really make your listicles better. Like instead of top 25 people who know JavaScript and WordPress, you could put their bio within their Instagram feed or something like that, make it more interesting. So I did that for my test. So you guys get to preview that before anybody else does, because it's not like on my menu or anything.
Smash Balloon, is that your company?
Smash Balloon? No, I work for WordPress.
Oh.
They make the Give donation plugin, Maps Builder Pro.
Oh, so this is just
widget.
these are plugins that you're reviewing that you did.
Yeah, I review plugins. I write for them. I'm the marketing manager, but I also write. And I started by reviewing plugins as a normal person. The series is called Normal People, Great Plugins. I'm the normal people. Like DIY WordPressers trying to learn how to use plugins.
Question for you. On your site, Bridget, you have I went to the link of the Instagram feed.
Yes.
Posts that you made, you have.
What's wrong with it? Did it break?
Nothing at all. I have a question, but you have a social media share counter there, right? That shows like that Mashable.
Oh, Mash Share. I got that for Jason Tucker, so blame him.
Yeah. So
Tucker's fault.
So
Mash Share's awesome.
No. My question is, was it in November? Twitter.
Oh yeah, they got rid of their share counts.
Yeah. So
Buffer did a whole post on that.
What's that?
I can tell you how Mash Share does it.
Buffer did a whole post saying that their shares actually went down because Twitter got rid of that in their API.
Wow.
Because when you see, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I just wanted to bring up that
I got
topic.
excited when you said Twitter.
That topic, especially because you're in the social media space.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's your thing.
It is my thing.
Relevant.
Are you guys like, how are you handling that, or what's the deal?
You guys meaning social media people?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't realize that it adversely affect shares until I read the study by Buffer. They're the ones that seem to be doing all these scientific studies.
Well, the question is, should you even put in a share counter now, since like depending on...
I should probably take that out because it looks like crap that 0 people shared it.
Well, I mean, it's because let's just say a big part of your audience is on Twitter more so than Facebook. I don't know. Should you even have a share counter?
I'll tell you how it works.
Here's what happened, and let me just summarize the Buffer thing.
Yeah.
They found out that people shared less. So it's like if you're on Facebook and you see that 20 of your friends are at the WordPress developer meeting, you feel a little bit left out, don't you? Even though you didn't want to go and somebody invited to drive you there. But then everybody that you know is there, and now you feel sad and you wanted to see Crash Labs, right? But you had to take your dog to the vet. Not that this happened to anybody, just maybe.
Right.
I'm just saying, right? Hypothetical. So psychologically, when you see that 964 people shared this article, you feel like, well, if I don't share it, then it's going to look like I don't know what's going on.
Yep.
So people are share less now that has no...
You're talking to somebody that still uses fireworks. So
but I'm glad you mentioned that, Jacob, because now I'm going to take that share count out.
Well, I like the share count.
From Mash Share, that plugin allows you to display or not display the number of shares.
But it's an aggregate number. So what it does is it takes the numbers from Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere else, and it takes those numbers and then displays them. So they have their own, like, I forget what they call it, but there's their own calculation engine that they use to kind of determine how many people shared it. And they're using it so when somebody clicks on the Mash Share link, it goes through Mash Share first, calculates it, and then goes out to the site. So they're using it as a way of tracking how people are sharing stuff.
Yeah.
So they're using their own stuff to determine how many shares it's had.
I got a design this week that had, a UI element like that had, share counter on there. And my first thought was, well, did the designer know that, Twitter's no longer...
Probably not.
And so is this something we still want to move forward with?
I don't think everybody knows that. I mean, my mom's going to look at it and go, whoa, there's 9,000 shares. I need to click share too. And she's just going to click share. And then,
right.
The cat blog just got another share.
Some people don't even believe in share buttons.
That's true. But what's nice about these ones from Mass Share is that they're clean. They're not like the one that's from the company itself. It's actually a nice, clean looking share button.
It looks better.
Yeah.
I remember on a project we did a while ago, I put a link on here, sharedcount.com. We used their API, and they bring in all the different ones. It's a little more technical. I remember we had a little bit of work we had to do to get it working, as opposed to a WordPress plugin. So that's an option too.
Yeah, I remember that Mass Share had some type of. They were using a third-party API to determine how many shares was being used. It may have been shared count or something like that. But now they have their own thing, so they just do it themselves. And Mass Share is it uses the same kind of layout that Mashable used. So they just took that and then just named it as such.
Also, you never know what Twitter's going to do. First, they have their tweets indexed by Google, then they don't. Then people can DM you, then they can't. Then there's a retweet button, then there's not. Then there's a retweet button that has a comment. Then there's
it's a moving target. It's a total moving target.
Characters. Now everybody and their mom is going to be able to send you War and Peace. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I love Twitter with all my heart. My whole life has changed because of Twitter. I never would have known about WordPress if it wasn't for Twitter, blah, 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 blah. But I'm telling you, they're driving me nuts right now. They're killing me. They're killing me.
Killing me, Larry.
They are. They're totally killing me.
It's changing light to love. It's never been the same.
Hey, Bridget, is your site on the 2016 theme? Kind of looks like it.
Hemingway.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's Hemingway. I know everybody's like, because you know what?
Bridget, you got the home there. You're finished, Bridget.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. Let me just explain.
Bridget.
Is Hemingway like a big deal? Did I miss something?
No, here's the thing. I know that you build themes for a living, but I just write and tweet, okay? So this is a third of my 4 websites that I've done, 4 and final websites. And so the first one, I spent days looking for a theme. And when I did this one, I went, I was Hemingway on WordPress.com. Oh, it's available on the repo. Done.
Hey, it has over 20,000 active installs.
When I did my moreofjesus.com, I said, I'm just going to do 2015 or 16 or whatever it is. And I don't care. I'm not looking for another theme. I'm not wasting my life looking for a theme. I don't care enough. Because you go in there and you're like, oh, isn't this pretty? Oh, let's try it. Okay, install. Okay, activate. Oh, I need a different header.
Hemingway is having a resurgence. If you look at the graph at the very bottom of that link I posted in the chat, it's actually working its way back up again. More people are installing it.
Yeah, Justine did it she, on her new blog. I like it. It's got a big giant thing and
the hero image.
20,000. Yeah, the hero image. I don't know. It looks less bloggy. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. It's not changing because awesome. I don't care. It's not like a company. It's just me writing about social media. So if somebody's turned off by that, they got other problems because I have like my biggest. I actually got called a monster on the internet because I wrote a piece called "Why I Don't Use Twitter's retweet button."
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I was called a monster on the internet. It brought a lot of traffic. Tons of traffic to my website, by the way.
Well, they live in dangerous territory, aren't they, Bridget? You're sort of out, weren't you?
I have tons of opinions. I'm a total social media snob. WordPress, I'm totally new at. And I'm just not going to waste my life looking for a theme. It is a black hole of options. There's 40,000 free themes on the repo.
That's crazy.
Right?
Awesome.
No, that's plugins. Plugins. Sorry, that was what I was looking for. Plugins. I was browsing the plugin directory for plugins to review. Just look at it. 40,000 plugins. Kill me now.
So I'll tell you right now, and this would be more of a security type thing. To kind of bring it back around to the topic at hand, which is WordPress and WordPress directly.
Yeah.
If you install a whole bunch of themes, make sure you remove the ones you're not using.
I did that except for the 20-somethings.
Right, exactly.
That's what you told me. I did exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I always advise clients to leave one as a backup, but I tell them to remove all the rest. Do you think that's the right thing to tell them, Uncle?
Yeah, and also make sure to delete the one that says Aveda, because that one's crap. Don't use that one.
like the skincare Aveda.
Yeah.
I usually leave one of the 20 something themes as a backup in the event that something happens and I need to switch themes from my custom theme to the WordPress 20 something theme. I'll do that.
Yeah.
I hear that advice a lot.
Yep. But just one.
It seems good to me.
I think the same thing applies to plugins. If you've got a plugin, you deactivated it and you've left it for a month and it still get rid of it.
Well, the only one I left is Hello Bar, because I haven't decided if I'll try to use it again. Now that I have my GuruGram back, I might do it for signups. I don't know.
Oh, well.
I haven't decided. That's the only one. Otherwise, I'm totally in the habit, you guys. I have 3 sites on managedwp.com, and I just go there every Monday, log in, bloop, update everything, bloop, I'm done.
I love the sound effect. Can you do it again? Bloop, bloop.
You know what, Bridget? So remember how we were talking about Hello Bar and if there was any plugins that are similar to it? Because Hello Bar stopped getting updated.
What happened to what's wrong with Hello Bar?
It hasn't been updated in ages.
Really?
Yeah.
Buffer's using it.
Well, it hasn't been updated in forever.
Okay, so we need a more secure Hello Bar.
There's one that's called Notification Bar.
Peanut butter bar?
What does it actually do, Uncle Tucker? Is it a kind of message? Is
or
it
candy bar? Peanut butter bar. Peanut butter and jelly.
Is it just delivers a message on the top?
Yeah,
is it?
exactly. That's exactly
it. Few Bar does a similar thing, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah, this one's totally free, and you just install it, and you type in the text you want to do. You hit the save button, and boom, you're done.
Have you guys ever submitted a theme to the repo?
Bridget totally has.
What's that?
Have you ever submitted a theme to the repo?
I haven't.
I have one plugin in the repo. That's it.
Cool.
I know. We need our theme developer people to show up.
Yeah.
Answer those questions.
Yeah, I've never submitted a theme to the repo.
I know that Matt Cromwell has made some child themes. He has Matt 2015. I don't know if it's on the repo or if it's on matt2015.com. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been delving into. I thought I'd never say this, but it's got to be said. I've been delving into Genesis. I thought I'd never use it, but I've been hammering away.
People love it.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a different mindset. But I'm getting used to it gradually.
Yeah, the people that use it rave about it.
They're crazy fanatical about it. Oh my gosh, the peanut butter bar even has a really cute graphic with a piece of Hershey bar and a peanut butter.
Oh, just have a look at that.
That's awesome. I'm saving that as a favorite.
The panda?
That's cute. Well, I don't know. I think it looks good. I'm going to try that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to be serious on this show, folks.
I try to be serious.
I've had a very stressful day with clients asking me all sorts of WordPress questions.
So you decided to come on a show where we ask you a bunch of WordPress questions?
I just pass them on to my
Hey, Jacob, there's my
developers that work for me. So people like Jacob, they can answer the questions.
Jacob, there's my plugin that I did.
You're claim to fame.
That's it. I did one, and then I stopped, and I haven't updated it in 2 years.
100 active installs.
You're like Will Ferrell on Old School. I'll do one.
Boom, done. I'm out. See ya. That was a pain in the butt.
Uncle Jason, what was the worst support question you ever got for the plugin?
Oh, you know what? It's had a few things. Oh, gee. So
there's one support on there, exactly what I need.
One of them was like, why did this plugin white screen my site? And I was like, oh,
to cross the other side.
So that's a you problem.
Right. It actually was my problem. I totally screwed up. I just kept hitting save a whole bunch and pushing it to the repo, and I had no idea what I was doing. I thought it was cool.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So if you wanted people to contribute to that, is that why you put it on GitHub? Is that what GitHub is?
Yeah, so on GitHub,
you probably know this answer, but I'm just going to ask
on
it.
GitHub, this is a good example, because on GitHub, people started doing pull requests, which is like, I made some changes. I'm going to send them to you. You look at them. If you like them, you can merge them together. So I had a pull request, and somebody was like, yeah, let me just fix this whole thing for you.
Richard, do you want the flippant answer to that question?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, it gives developers another group of terms that they can baffle their clients with. So it's like push, pull, get, it's all these terms. So basically, the more terms they can put into a sentence, the more they can blow the brains out of their clients and seem that they really know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
and charge more money.
All the buzzwords.
That's the first step in marketing, is making it look bigger. The male peacock has.
You've got to instruct yourself and know you're the top developer. So you've got to have all the terms.
It works,
Bridget. You've
I'm
got to know all the terms.
So, Jason, did you have a lot of pull requests on your plugin?
I remember something, but I don't know where they're not showing up in this anymore.
It's been 2 years since you updated it.
I know.
Yeah, is it compatible to 4.4.1?
Well, this thing had 37 commits, so I must have just kept going at it.
37 commits.
It's like, yeah, save more, do some more things. And the all it does is just outputs. This guy Serge J. Mueller, he's a guy that helped out. He updated one little thing and said, yeah, so now this thing doesn't white screen my site. Thank you.
That's cool.
That's right. I would feel bad when people say white screen.
Right, the white screen of death.
Oh God, I couldn't.
But Bridget, as a writer, you as well can contribute to open source projects.
Yeah, I don't really get that. Right now, we're just trying to learn the terms.
Okay.
So you
like
can write
open source
documentation, and then you can submit a pull request.
Listen, I didn't even know documentation existed until September.
Wow. So all those books that come with the stuff that you buy, you just kind of toss them out.
That I just put it together. I'm a doer. Okay, so the Rubik's Cube came out.
What is?
I took it apart and then put it back together. That's what I did. I never did the blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
I disassembled it and then assembled it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I learned by doing. When I was a teacher, my student loans for being a teacher.
My last girlfriend said that, Bridget.
Yeah, okay. That's a different show, John. When I was a teacher, you learn that there's 8 different types of intelligence. So there's the kinetic, the auditory, the visual.
Obvious, isn't it?
That et cetera, and I'm more like, I was one of those person that's like almost totally well-rounded, literally, but I like to do stuff. It's like if I just hear it, I don't get it. But if I start trying it,
he's off.
That's what happens when I talk. People just get super bored and they leave.
I feel like I must apologise, actually, Bridget. I'm not going to come. Obviously, when I come on this show, I think things go downhill rapidly, don't they?
I'm not going to comment on that. That is a tar baby right there, and I recognize that exactly for what it is.
So Bridget, when I say
my video got cut out, sorry.
You as a writer can contribute to open source
stuff and things.
Do you know what that means?
No, I was just trying to be smart alecky. I'm sorry. What does that mean exactly?
So, when a project is open source, it means that it's Roy says we're not going to do this again. Have we talked about this before? Oh, 10 times.
Well, we had one issue when I was saying about copyright, but I know that the WordPress book was written on GitHub. I know that I think my nerd people told me that the WordPress book that Matt Mullenweg was talking about was written on GitHub.
I'm not feeling the love, really. I just don't get any claps.
That's because we're not leaning on our mouse over here. We're having a conversation.
You can just hold down the button? I didn't know that.
I don't get any.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man, I've been clicking.
On the mouse.
I'm not childish. I'm not easily upset.
No, I want to listen, you guys. Let's focus our minds here.
Okay.
I want to hear what Jacob has to say about open source writing.
He's just too serious.
Well, I'm talking about documentation, right? So usually a big sour spot in a lot of projects, open source projects, is the lack of documentation, because as developers, we're focused on getting the code to work and getting it to work at a point where we can put it into production somewhere. So documentation is always a part of a project that's usually kind of not the best part. So you as a writer, if you're going in there and you're looking at a project, like a plugin, for instance, you realize, hey, man, there aren't any examples here of how to use this thing or frequent asked questions. Let me write some frequent asked questions. Let me write some examples for you.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So as I'm perusing GitHub and I come across the plugin and I know what it is, and I'm like, hey, yo, want some documentation? I'll just add it. Oh, blah, 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 commit. Blah, 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 commit. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, for the sake of...
Oh, my gosh. In my free time.
Yes.
I'll try to figure out what's like. I didn't know that, though. See, WordPress, and here's my little plug, has excellent documentation because Matt Cromwell writes it, and they do. And we're known for that. So I never even thought about it. But that is a good point. So do people who develop plugins outsource their documentation writers?
Yeah, they do. Because most of the time, these guys or girls want to just go and write their documentation in their code. So they just go and say like, oh yeah, this function does this, and oh yeah, this function does that. And then by the end of it, you end up with a whole bunch of, here's how this thing works. But like internally, none of it's like, here's how this thing works if like, you install it on your website.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but like, this is what happens, because Jacob, you're kind of new. You don't know how crazy I am. I get all these things, and then boom, I have like the best idea ever.
Okay.
So last year at WordCamp Orange County, Chris Ford gave a talk saying that you don't have to code to contribute to WordPress. And she's talking about teaching and writing and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So, but writers can commit to the code by contributing to the documentation.
Yes.
That is a WordCamp talk that needs to happen. So if anybody's listening to this before January 15th, WordCamp San Diego is accepting speaker applications until tomorrow. And that would be a great talk. I'm just saying. Because I know a lot of writers who don't even know that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of one right now. He's saying, oh, that would be a good talk. How do writers fit into WordPress? Because a lot of us come to WordPress because I don't care that you guys don't want us to say it anymore, but it is a blogging platform. Even though blogging platform is what you hate about it.
You can
That's how we came to it.
You can write a book using Photoshop. You could write a book using Photoshop, but you really should not be writing a book using Photoshop.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is that would be an excellent WordCamp talk. Am I right or am I right?
How to show writers how to contribute?
Yeah, they don't even know it exists. I bet you. I didn't know that.
You can even do stuff like
if you find
typos
right
in the
now,
documentation.
I would ask my writing friends if they knew that you could contribute to WordPress by writing documentation on GitHub.
Are you a grammar Nazi?
0 out of a million don't even know that's possible.
I should say, are you a grammar Nazi? If so, you should join, the ranks of
That's awesome.
WordPress. Do you love the Oxford comma? Run around and put Oxford commas on everything.
Yes, Oxford comma or go home. No, that is awesome. See, you know what happens on WP Blab every single week? The best is at the end.
Yep.
The grammar lady lives in Reno.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she
Grammar Girl
does.
is awesome.
The grammar girl?
Grammar Girl. She lives.
Julie Finnerty?
She lives. She teaches at Reno
John
University.
Fogarty.
She
Fogarty.
teaches at the Reno University.
She's awesome.
I actually had her in one of my talks. She used to do a podcast, and she'd record her podcast in a closet.
She does.
Yep.
She still does the podcast, right?
Yeah, but she records it in her closet.
Yeah.
She shoves
So
her head
does
in there and talks.
ASMP Science.
Bridget.
Yes, sir.
So there are some open source projects that actually, in their README documentation, actually have a contribution guideline. Like, if you want to contribute, this is how you do it. Which is
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they actually, and some people like walk you step by step. Clone the repo, do this, do that, then do this.
Interesting.
So there's actually contribution guidelines, documentation on how to document. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's so awesome.
There you go, Bridget.
It's like,
see, you can make an
all that
GIF of
spare
how to do
time
the
you got,
documentation.
Bridget, you could be doing that.
well, I don't know if I could be doing it, but somebody could be doing it.
You could totally be doing it.
It's just baby steps.
I had somebody on Heisenberg submit a pull request just for a little typo. I mean, it's like another set of eyes.
If you speak a different language, you can do it
like
too.
A red marker.
What's that?
A pull request is like a red marker.
No. Well, no. So what it is if you make a change.
I found this error.
It doesn't necessarily have to be an error. It could be an improvement, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's still a red marker. English teacher be like, please expand. What do you mean?
Or you could be the one that expanded. So let's say that you wanted to add a new feature to it and you really wanted this feature. You could write the feature and then submit it and then submit the pull request and the person goes, oh, wow, this is the greatest thing ever. And then they merge it and then it's added into there.
That is crazy. I can't even.
When you contribute to core, that's exactly what you're doing. You're downloading a copy of WordPress, you're making changes to it, and then you're submitting your changes. And then they look at it and go, oh, this is great, or wow, this is awful. And then you just, they approve it or not.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of, like, at conferences, a lot of how to contribute to open source kind of talks.
Yeah.
It's becoming pretty popular.
I don't think that we know that because it's.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I've been to 5 WordCamps and I never heard that.
So I went to 2 WordCamp, WordCamp San Francisco's ago, where they did exactly that. They're like, do you write documentation or you want to learn how to write documentation? Can you put a whole bunch of words together and make a proper sentence? Perfect. Come on over here. You know how to code? Go over here. You know how to make SVGs? Go over here. And all the things that you do, they had a group for them and they would sit down and talk about, hey, here's how to do this. And the documentation people were tearing it up. They were going through all sorts of stuff that needed documentation. And now it's gotten to the point where it's like we have a lot of documentation. Now we need it to all be translated in other languages. So you have these polyglots that are people that just speak multiple languages. You get them into a room and you say, okay, look, you know French? Take all of this English documentation and write it in French. Or, oh, this person wrote this in Farsi. I need to take all this Farsi information and turn it into English. So it's all different directions, and they want to make sure that all of these plugins have really good documentation and documentation in all the languages. So when you go look for it, you could type in your native tongue the name of the plugin and be able to find the plugin.
Also,
Uncle Tucker, do they have from American to proper British English?
No.
Proper is the first word that would go. No, but today it's hard to proofread yourself too. And if you're the one that did it, that's actually kind of the reason why we started this series, Normal People, Awesome Plugins, because developers install plugins, they don't even think about all the steps. And one of the things I had to learn when I was reviewing a premium plugin is that it's not in the repo and you don't install it the way you install it normally, and that you have to go get the zip file and upload it. And that was something everybody overlooked, but I was wasting 20 minutes on because I'm like, where the hell is this file? I paid for it. I put in the license key. Where is it?
Right.
Well, you downloaded it, you dumbass. So, right. So these are things that you guys don't even think about because you do them so much.
Find your download folder and then upload the file. Wait,
it's so obvious now, right? It's obvious now. but it wasn't at the time. I was so frustrated.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, not being the person who wants somebody to email them, let me Google that for you, I went and read their documentation and I didn't see those steps. So I think you bring up a really good point now that I think about it, because a lot of times technical writers know how to write steps. And
right.
Steps is instructional. This is instructional material. And sometimes you developer guys get so jargoned out that people have a hard time. They don't understand what you're saying. And it seems so obvious. Well, just get the SVN, or just get the CDN, or just get the SVG, or just upload the CSS file, or just like that, because it's so easy for you to do it 5 million times a day.
A lot of times too, Bridget, what you can do when you go to a GitHub repo, there's a tab called issues, right? And the contributors of that repo will sometimes put in issues as far as like a to-do list, things they want to get done, and they'll tag it with like feature or need someone. So you can go through there too if there's something that you identify, like, hey, I'm able to handle something like this because this.
Oh, like a honey-do list.
Yes. So if it's something within your skill set, you can find it there, and then hopefully they have a contribution guide. So you know how to actually contribute to that project.
Interesting.
And then you contribute.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know all this.
Yeah.
Not like I'm going to open GitHub tomorrow, but this is interesting. I know some people I'm going to send there.
Step 1, create a GitHub account.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's great.
So
I'm
starting an open source project, and it's dealing with all the stuff that's at my house, and I want everyone to contribute, and I want everyone to do pull requests on all the different things that my wife wants me to do.
Paint this room.
Yep, exactly.
This color. With the hexadecimal code or whatever.
Yeah, I would specify the code, and then they would come in and they would
hashtag 003366 from Sherman-Williams.
Exactly. Folks, it is past 9:00. Bridget needs to go to bed. Let's wrap this bad boy up. So here's the deal. If you like this show, click on the little tweet the bird thing over on the left-hand side.
Tweet the bird.
If you want to tell your mom about it, make sure you go click on the post button on Facebook and do that. And if you do the tweet the bird thing, you'll end up getting video of us sitting here talking, and then it'll post it as an animated GIF. Lastly, if you enjoyed this show, we also record this on Mondays at 11 o'clock Pacific. Go over to WPwatercooler.com, click on the link there, and subscribe. If you subscribe to our YouTube account, you'll get both this video as well as WP Watercooler, and you'll also get WP Watercooler Recommends, which is our new show that we just launched that is all about recommendations of WordPress plugins. Thank you all for being on the show. Jacob, thanks for hanging out. Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Great as always.
Oh, thank you. It's a superb show as normal.
Cheers, mate.
Apart from me, of course.
It was a lot of forethought.
Lack of contribution at all.
This was a heavy-duty dev episode.
And Bridget committed. She committed. She did pull requests.
Smiling.
She's going to have a GitHub account in a few minutes, and she's going to start
throwing
in all the Oxford commas everywhere. All right, folks.
That's it. That's all I'm doing.
Bye.
Bye.